the dial, turn it loud. Miami's pride, make us proud. CanesWear crew, you hear the crowd. Hurricanes ain't backing down. Every play, every score, raising bets and raising roar. Rocking orange, green galore. All for one and one for four. We got FTSN, taking names, win it again. Podcast fam, till the end. Tune in, now let's begin.
Hello and welcome to the Thursday night edition of the CanesWear podcast. That's just not any CanesWear podcast. That's the 4-0 Miami Hurricanes CanesWear podcast, number 2 in the nation. I'm going to enjoy a bye week. It's a good time to relax for everybody. I know it's a good time for Gio, who's with me. I know it's a good time for CanesWear. Just a nice little after 4 home games in a row. It's good to go ahead and just have a nice little break. And to do it while we're 4-0 is an amazing time. So excited to be here. Excited everybody that jumping on with us on Thursday night. Gio, how are you today?
I'm doing good. We got a whole bunch of comments dropping in from a bunch of people showing up tonight. Thank you everyone for the support. Bye week, like you said, Miami ranked all the way up at number 2, their highest ranking since November of 2017. So I'm sure that's a really good feeling for people. And actually, now that it's a bye week, Miami fans as a whole can scout Florida State. They play tomorrow night against Virginia, their first ACC game of the season. I said the last time we were on here when we spoke a little bit about FSU that I wanted to see how they look against Virginia. I think tomorrow is going to tell quite a bit about what Florida State team Miami's going to be seeing on October 4th.
I agree, Gio. This is for the first. I mean, you could say Virginia's a real team because they obviously are a Power 5 conference team or Power 4. Are we saying Power 4 now instead of Power 5?
Yeah, Power 4 now with the
Power 4 now. So, we'll find out soon because Virginia has been playing very well. I know my son Matthew's watching. He is a University of Virginia grad. So I've been at every Canes game over there. And sometimes it's tough to play in that stadium. So they've given us trouble. And they could give Florida State. We really don't know how good Florida State's going to be. I was telling my buddy, I said, they won 2 games last year. I mean, can they really turn it around? And he said, well, Brett, they were undefeated the year before, which is true. You don't think about that. And that game 2 years ago,
it was such a drastic shift for them last season, only winning 2 games. I think some of that was the quarterback last year, DJ Uiagalelei, was not a good fit for their roster and team and what they wanted to do on offense. I think Tommy Castellanos fits what they do this year with Gus Malzahn heading the offense as the OC. He's a very experienced guy. He's cut his teeth throughout college football, Arkansas State, Auburn. He was once at Tulsa with the Golden Hurricanes in the early 2000s. I'm sure Hurricane fans remember people clamoring for him as potentially a Miami OC back then. People were hoping for him way back, but we're talking over 20 years ago.
Is that long ago? I thought it was even more recent that they were asking for.
Malzahn's been around for a little while now, and then also his stop with UCF and everything. So he's been around quite a bit. Obviously, this job that he has right now with Florida State, that's to kind of just propel him back up into a head coaching spot, landing somewhere. That's the ultimate goal for him. So I think it's a good fit that they have with Tommy Castellanos, but Florida State does not scare me up front with their offensive line or even that defensive line for that matter. I still think they have questions there on those spots. And again, Castellanos is a great running threat, but where is the passing attack for them? I think there's still questions about that Florida State team that I think some of them will get answered tomorrow night against a better opponent. Like I know when I say this, people say, wait, Virginia, a better opponent than Alabama. I think Alabama got caught off guard, not prepared for a physical game with Florida State. I think it caught them by surprise. And the other thing, too, is I know everyone talks about Florida State's offense looking really good through the first 3 weeks. However, context matters here, who they've played against. They played against the Kent State team that has barely won any games the last 2 years at the FBS level. And then they also played Eastern Texas A&M, not Texas A&M, East Texas A&M. So if you're hearing that name, you're probably wondering, what the heck is the East Texas A&M?
I've never heard of Eastern Texas A&M. I mean, it's kind of strange. So, how much did they pay them to come play? But I've never heard of them. But you're right. We'll see. I mean, the game against Alabama, they caught Alabama by surprise. They obviously manhandled Alabama. But this game, they got to be thinking ahead about that heavyweight battle against the Canes. If they win, it's going to be 2 top 5 teams. I mean, that's a lot of pressure on them that they may overlook Virginia. We'll see. I mean,
I'll tell you this: win or lose Friday, it sounds like game day is coming to Tallahassee next week. Some emails have leaked from the administration side of things with Florida State up in Tallahassee, and they're already sending stuff out to students and faculty members about attendance for college game day next Saturday. So, I mean, it's not official yet, but Saturday night it'll probably be out there.
Well, with a win, I think it's going to be definite. And I know, I mean, I've always rooted for, I mean, I know you're not supposed to root for the opponent, but if Florida State loses, the advantage to loses that game, the advantage to us is if something happens and we slip up, which I don't believe we will, we would still be tied with them and and the tiebreaker. If they were to win and we were to win, that game becomes even more important. It's still important, but then you could be back 1 and a tiebreaker. So basically 2 games. So I think we're gonna put Florida State away. I mean, 2 years ago when they had the undefeated national championship team, which they called them, or was that UCF a few years ago? I get them all confused. I think they thought they were national champions as well. But they, we played them tough with Emory. I mean, we almost won that game. We could have won. We should have won that game at Florida State a couple of years ago when Emory got hurt, running down the sideline. So we shall see. We'll get to your questions in a second. Remember, we are sponsored by CanesWear, the spots Miami fans shop, South Florida fans for that reason matter. Gio, and CanesWear is the only place, as everybody here knows. We got all of our raving fans on here that you can get Canes stuff, Florida Panthers stuff, Inter Miami Messi stuff, Dolphins stuff. Poor Dolphins 0-3. Marlins who are playing really good. They were 9-1 until they just lost last night. So you get all those teams, even Miami Heat items. But for the most selection of Miami Hurricanes items locally, independently, it's at CanesWear. God, you can see in the background everything I got there. We got the Sean Taylor jersey, the Ed Reed jersey. We got the number 1 jerseys. We're getting a lot of new things in every single day. So it's really exciting. We just got the fedoras in, which you look really good in, Gio. Nice fedora, the black ones and the white ones. So we got tons of great stuff at CanesWear.
What are you trying to say? I look like a mobster?
I don't know. You would look awfully good in it, I think. And we just had, as you know, Serge Bobrowski, Bobby, and Sam Bennett for a signing. It was phenomenal. It was unbelievable. And we got Matthew Tkachuk on November 7th. I don't know if you've ever seen the guy Caesar. Have you ever seen Caesar, the little guy in the wheelchair with the Panthers? He's everywhere. He was at Club 11. He was there. And I mean, he was having a great time talking to people. I'd never really met him before. Awesome individual. Going to be a good friend to CanesWear. And it just made the day even that much better. So it was great. We had professional photographers. It was amazing. We're going to have Canes signatures soon. So look out for that. So exciting time, Gio.
Yes, it is exciting times. And I was glad that you actually mentioned the upcoming signing with Tkachuk as well.
Absolutely.
And, I think, look, I was a little critical at first when he was picked as the guest speaker for Miami and Florida, because the way I looked at I get it from ESPN's perspective. They're trying to hit a certain demographic, age group, and whatnot, especially signing the new NHL deal between ESPN and the NHL now as well. But he did a really good job, honestly, and he did his homework. And you saw the post afterwards that he had this long paper of notes of just everything he jotted down for his picks and whatnot. Shout out to Chucky. He did a really good job. I was a little critical at first, but you know what? He delivered. Yes, it wasn't directly connected to the Hurricanes, but I think he did a really good job, and it came out great. And look at it this way. It was the second most viewed college game day ever in history of the program.
Pretty remarkable.
Like ever that College Game Day has ever done is the second most viewed ever in the entire history of it. So it was a great job.
It brought more fans. Kachuk was great not only for the Panthers. He's been here 3 years. They've been in 3 championships and won 2. But obviously for the 4 nations, he was like the face of the USA. So people were watching. He's got his own fans. But I don't watch all the game days, I have to admit. But that game day was just fantastic. I mean, when McAfee went to
they nailed the ending. But Pat McAfee, right off the high. Yes.
That was phenomenal. I'm saying there's no way. There's no way.
it was a perfect ending. And by the way, shout out to Miami's SID, Cam Gorby. He did a phenomenal job facilitating everything. Cam always does a great job with all of us in the media and whatnot. So great job by that whole department with Miami's setting up everything. And it came out so well. I mean, let me put it to you this way. You want to put like a highlight reel together of trying to show a kid why they should go to the University of Miami. That should be one of the first things on that short list that you show, like, hey, this is one of the reasons why you should come here.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, we're the second biggest game day ever, and that's forever, correct? That's ever, Miami, which we know they've had tons of them in Alabama and tons of them in SEC country and Big Ten country with Ohio State and Michigan, but Miami doesn't get it that often. But anything you put the label of orange and green with, okay? When we played opening game against Notre Dame, that was one of the highest rated games. Florida last year. I mean, the NCAA has to look at, they need Miami to be good. They need Miami to be part of something, because wherever they're going to go, I mean, they can carry the ACC on their own, I think, if they got to be back to where they were.
Well, I think you saw this last year that week in and week out, Miami did really well in terms of TV ratings. They've done it again early on in the season. I think it's a mixture of Miami's very compelling to watch and exciting. And the other aspect to it, too, on the other side of the coin, is you have people around the country that want to see Miami lose. They hate Miami's guts. They will be hate watching Miami every week, hoping that Miami drops the ball.
Yeah, when you hate a player, I mean, I'm not a LeBron fan. I was for the 4 years he was here. But, you root for some people to lose. So if he's, and then if you got 2 teams like, that nobody cares about, it's like, okay, am I really going to want to watch? And so you're right. It doesn't matter if they gravitate you because they love you, or they gravitate you they hate you. Alabama too. People don't like Alabama. They either like them or not. The New York Yankees, they either like them or not. Those teams draw. So it's great that that we're able to do that. So let's get to the questions. Jacoby, thanks for joining the show. Go Canes. New King God, what's good? Gio and I are good. We're 4-0. I think every Canes fan is good right now. Jake, good talking to you. What's up, fellas? Thanks for joining the show. Kim, the lovely Kim Sanchez. Hi, guys. I love the podcast. Thank you. Eddie, good evening, gentlemen. It's all well. Absolutely. We're 4-0, baby. We are feeling amazing. We got Taco in the house. All right. Gio, who's Taco? Do you know Taco?
He's a good buddy of mine, actually.
All right. Taco's in the house.
Watch party that I've thrown before. He's a really good guy.
All right, cool. New King God, what are you watching for in the FSU versus Virginia game, Gio?
Want to see how FSU's defense responds to the offense that Virginia has. Virginia is one of the better offenses to open up the season, especially with Morris at quarterback. They've had a nice start. The other thing I want to see, can Florida State actually throw the ball? They've done really well running, some trickery here and there. I will give credit, though, and I told my guy, Steve Kim, this. We were at Duffy's Tavern down there in Miami the day of when Florida State played Alabama and shocked them. I told Steve before that game, I was there with a couple other football alumni from Miami as well. I told them before that game started, the guy that is the most dangerous for Florida State, and he hadn't proven anything yet, but I remember because Miami was going after this kid coming out of high school. Don't want to butcher his first name, but I think it's Makahi Danzy. He is a tremendous athlete. He's proven it early on this season. I think he's Florida State's most dangerous playmaker. And I think that's a guy that definitely Miami's going to have to game plan for. But, however, I want to see, can Florida State actually throw the ball against a team with a pulse? Because they didn't really do that against Alabama either. They weren't like slinging it around the yard. There's just a lot of run game, physicality, and whatnot. But again, like we said earlier, I think Alabama wasn't prepared for a physical game.
Yeah, everybody's talking about their quarterback. I hear Brett, the quarterback is really good. He's really good. I mean, he was obviously at Boston College before, correct?
Yes.
At Boston College, he quit on the team last year, right, to transfer. He was, a few games in. So is he as good as people think?
I think he's a dynamic athlete. I think especially because I watched him quite a bit when he played at Boston College. I think he's a dynamic athlete, limited as a passer. But, for example, a couple years back, a guy that made Florida State a better team, Jordan Travis, a lot of that had to do with his legs. It wasn't so much the arm. However, I think Travis was a much better passer than Castellanos is. So
that's obviously, we saw how they played without Travis. National Comic Book Day today, Zach. Thank you.
I guess it's multiple different days because National Comic Book Day, and then I heard today is National Daughters Day as well. I mean, I don't have a daughter, but
I don't have a daughter either. So 2 sons, but National Daughter Day as well. Happy National Daughter Day to all you dads and moms with daughters. Zach, welcome to the show. Anthony, welcome to the show. Kim, hi, Gio and Brett. Great to hear from you, Kim. If anyone wants to know where my hairstyle is done, it's done by Kim. Okay, so she's the famous hair cutter. Like at the end of those, that takes care of my fine do here. Los Mark, welcome to the show. Kellen Wiley, gentlemen, good evening. Welcome, Kellen. Jacoby, I'm watching the Florida State line of scrimmage.
I agree. I don't think, you asked me, not much strikes fear into me with the trenches from Florida State. I know people say, wait a minute, but they dominated Alabama. I still have questions about them, particularly on the offensive line.
So we obviously have the offensive line, which is dominating. And then we have the defense line, which many are calling on all these national programs the best defense up front. I don't know if it's front 4, front 7 in college football. How do you think we compare to other teams that you've seen?
What, defensively?
On defense, on that defensive front.
Oh, I think Miami has the best defensive line in the country. I don't think it's even close, especially between how Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor are performing. But, it's funny. Those guys get a lot of credit. But the unsung hero of that D-line, I'll keep on mentioning it, David Blay. David Blay is having a really good season, especially as a nose tackle for Miami. Ahmad Moten has taken it up another step. And even guys rotating in like former 5-stars like Justin Scott, Armando Blunt, Marquise Lightfoot, all 3 of those guys are making game-changing plays. So,
the guys the guys right in the middle, people, it's rare. You don't really hear about them as much because they don't get sacks in most cases. I mean, and if you don't hear their names, sometimes it's good. Because, they're not getting beat. But those guys are doing a phenomenal job. You're right. And the whole defensive line has to play together. How do you feel the linebacker plays, Ben?
I think pretty decent. I think Mohamed Toure stepped up this last game. Wesley Besainth played pretty good early on against Notre Dame. Even Popo Aguirre as well. I think it's been good so far. Chase Smith was really good against USF. I think they have a group of like 4 to 5 guys right now at linebacker that they can kind of rotate between to and find someone that has a buzz or a flash in a game. I don't think it's the best unit in the country right now, but I think they're good and solid and definitely an improvement from last year.
Well, it seems like the swarming gang tackling that we're doing, obviously it's not just the defensive line, but the linebackers are in there. And it seems like from side to side, the horizontal part of the field, we are just dominating, just like we did in the old days. We're just getting to the ball so fast. In this game, I saw a couple like the little out flat the pass. Last year could have been a touchdown. We had 5 guys swarm on them in a second. I mean, is that coaching, do you believe?
Oh, it's absolutely coaching. It's what Coach Heatherman stresses to the guys. 11 hats towards the ball at all times. So obviously with some discipline along the way. It's not that everyone's just going to the quarterback because he's got the ball in his hands off snap. But yeah,
absolutely, yeah. All right, Alejandro, what up, Gio? Rich, I'm a simple man. I see Who Wants Smoke podcast live. I clicked the link.
Thank you.
One, all right, yes. Gio's got the Who Wants Smoke once a week or twice a week?
Right now it's at once a week. Trying to work at getting back to like 2 or 3 times a week, or trying to iron out something with the schedule. Anthony Monsanto shared here. Gio, I'm sticking to what I've been saying the past few days. FSU is just a souped-up USF. If you shut down Castellanos, who on that offense scares you? Danzy scares me. And I'm going to give the kid his respect because Miami really wanted him coming out of high school too. But nothing else much on that offense right now. I want to see them play against Virginia. I think Florida State can definitely run the ball, but Miami has shown that they could stop rushing attacks against elite players. They did it against Notre Dame, against Florida. Everyone was talking about Lagway's legs. They were talking about Jaden Ball. Miami kept that in check, and Miami did the same thing with USF. Everyone was talking about Byron Brown and how dynamic he is as an athlete, and Miami kept that mostly in check, even to the point they had 28 pressures on Byron Brown about 2 weeks ago. So that I mean,
he looks like a pretty good athlete too.
Yeah.
So that was this next question. I was thinking about this the whole time, so I have some questions. He's saying Mike Ryan says our wide receivers have issues getting open. What you think? Give me your thoughts, and then I have some follow-up questions on that.
Okay, I think Mike Ryan has a point here. Let me break it down simple. I don't think it's so much a Malachi Toney thing. I think C.J. Daniels is a really good wide receiver. He's not a guy that's exactly going to beat you off the line with his speed. Solid guy that can play through contested catches. Keelan Marion, however, I don't want to bring this guy down a few pegs, but this is what I've seen from the eye test early on in the season. Unless it's a go route or a quick comeback curl route, struggles on routes that break in, doesn't really get separation. So I can see it from that aspect. Tony Johnson's not exactly blazing fast either. I think this is what comes into play. I've said this to a few people in my private board. I've said it in a couple of group chats. I'm in quite a few group chats on X that I talk with people. I want to see more of Joshua Moore and Josiah Trader going forward.
Why didn't we see them? We didn't see them at all, did we?
I think those two guys solve some of that equation there about wide receivers needing to create separation. It's not an issue with Malachi Toney, but the problem is tape is out on Malachi Toney now. Teams are going to try to bracket him. Other guys are going to have to make plays. I am surprised that Joshua Moore is not starting yet. I think it's very clear that he should be starting.
No, he scored 2 touchdowns against USF. He had one that catch.
It's not even so much his ability to get downfield. He's also a really good blocker if you turn on the tape. I'm surprised he's not starting yet.
But he wasn't even targeted in this game. Either was Trader. I mean, how many snaps did they get?
Yeah, well, Trader sat out the previous 2 games, and then he was suited up this past week for Florida. Wasn't a go. Should be good to go for Florida State. We'll see. But I think those 2 guys are guys that Miami's going to have to lean on going forward. I don't think Mike Ryan's totally off on what he's saying.
You know, I just think that they need to, but like you said, Moore. I said at the beginning of the season, I thought Moore could be a deep ball threat. Except he's fast. Obviously he's big, but should be out there. Just didn't know why they simplified it almost too much on the offensive game plan. They didn't really throw deep in this game, correct?
Yeah, not too much. I think some of that was weather conditions, and also some of that too was Florida kind of basically allowed Miami to run. They didn't really crash down their safeties. They basically said, look, we're going to try to take away the deep passing game from Beck in that offense, and we're going to see if our front 4 can win against Miami's offensive line. And I think that's a terrible game plan, to be honest.
Well, you were on the field, right?
Yeah.
How bad did you think the weather affected both quarterbacks? Because their quarterback, Lagway, couldn't. I mean, he was 20 yards overthrowing guys,
I
and
just think
Carson was behind everybody.
I think Lagway is completely cooked right now. I think it's more than just the weather. I think it's a combination of multiple things. I think it's the play calling, number one. I don't think they're playing to his strengths. Number two, had been off the field for a long time. He dealt with multiple injuries. Now he's back in a walking boot. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting a red shirt or not, depending on how these next few games play out for Florida. And he potentially ends up at another program. But DJ Lagway, look, I'm not going to try to give too much credit here to Florida. Miami dominated them. But he's not in a good situation over there. He's really not. And putting it on that kid's shoulders to be the savior of your program, and he's only going into second year, I think was a lot of pressure to put on that kid. I really do think so. I do think he could bounce back somewhere else.
Do you think the weather affected Beck because he wasn't as sharp as game?
I think to an extent. I think some of it was also by design from Florida, what they were trying to take away too. It wasn't exactly his best game either. Some receivers had dropped some passes as well. So just a combination of all of it. And look, Florida, they weren't crashing safeties down. They weren't loading up the box. So Miami said, you know what? We're just going to run it all day long. It had a very Miami, Florida State 2024 feel to it. Just Miami just dominating physically the entire night.
Awesome. I thought so too. Dominated. We let them in the game for too long in that game. It got scary for a bit, but that's another story.
I wasn't worried. The flow of the game, where the way it was going, I wasn't concerned.
Well, it was 4th and 1, and we stopped them thankfully, and then it was over from there. Anthony back saying Florida State's a souped-up USF. We shut down Castellanos, who on offense scares you, which I guess
we had already answered that.
I apologize. Let's see. How do you feel about the player rotation on the D line? I believe we need to find snaps for Simpson and Russell as soon as possible. Moten Scott and Blay won't last playing 40-plus snaps. That's from New King God.
I agree with that to some extent. You do want to get Dante Simpson a little more burn as the year goes on. He's kind of that next man up in the D tackle room. I know Dalen Russell's a little banged up right now, so I don't know exactly when he's going to return. Artavius Jones is back now, though. He dealt with injury throughout most of the offseason, so not sure where he's at with his development at this moment. And, I agree from that aspect that you are one injury away there at D tackle from things getting a little questionable. But I think we'll cross that bridge when we get there. You know, that so far I think the strength and conditioning has really shown off this season from a physicality standpoint and even health-wise as well. The team has stayed relatively healthy through all these games, and some of these have been really physical games.
Absolutely. Rich, good point on this one. He's been meaning to ask, did he overreact thinking our offense got exposed a bit against UF, or is UF's defense that good?
UF's defense is good. Look, I know Florida doesn't look great that they're 1-3 right now, but they take a look at their defense and where they have plucked these guys away from, like which schools they went up for these guys. There's legit talent throughout that defense that Florida has. Don't think that this is a depleted Florida roster. I think it's more coaching than anything that's going on over there.
Yeah, it's possible. I wonder how long the watch is. I thought, if we blew them out, Napier wouldn't have a job, but I guess he still does.
I could see after this little stretch that they're on now, because now they're going to play Texas and a couple other games. I could see it happening after that, after a couple of games.
Yeah, why give the new guy just to be beat up by the top teams? Thanks for reposting the stream, Evan. Let's see, what does that say? New King God. Only player I'm worried about on FSU defense is Darrell Jackson because of his size, and he requires a double team, which frees up a linebacker.
Yeah, Darrell Jackson is a handful to deal with, especially because of his frame. I've said for a while that I would love for Miami to have a D tackle with that size again. They sort of have that with David Blay. I think David Blay is more of a natural nose tackle than even Darrell Jackson was. But yeah, I think he's the He's the guy you circle on that FSU defensive line that Miami's guys on the interior are going to have to be prepared for. And even the other kid next to him, Daniel Lyons, who's originally from Homestead, he's having a decent start to the season. So he's battled a couple injuries, but good, solid player overall. Those two guys in their interior. Their edge rushers, on the other hand, haven't seen much from those guys early on in the season, but we'll see.
That's why they play the games, right?
Yeah.
I think Shavoy Kane, welcome to the show. I heard people saying, is that Dan Levitard went off on us and believes in FSU, or is that what we're saying?
Yeah, well, I haven't watched the Levitard show recently. I've just been super busy, so I haven't been able to catch up on that. But I'm guessing by that comment, maybe it has to do with getting a little conservative with Notre Dame and maybe not putting away Florida as early as you should have. I could kind of understand it from that aspect.
I think the questions that were about Mario are still there in game. Is he going to be the reason we don't win at all or get there? This team, I think, is as good as anybody in the country. Is Mario going to lose the coaching battle? That's the question, I guess, on people's minds. Hopefully Dawson has some new wrinkles he saved just for FSU, according to New King God. We didn't do a play action again, and we didn't do any quarterback runs.
Some jet sweeps from the offense too. So they're adding things in. It goes on progressively throughout the season. There's some plays. I've actually spoken to some guys that have played football for Miami before in the past, and one guy in particular that played for Dawson before. Sometimes you may see a play again, but it may be a different iteration of it. It may be reversed, maybe a tweak that's added to the play call. There may be a play that you only see one time during the season and you never see it again.
One set I did see that I liked a lot that they went into in the fourth quarter on that touchdown drive was the two backs. They didn't have that most of the year. The two backs, I loved it when they went to that. Either one with the lead blocker, if it was Brown.
They did that last season too, yeah.
But that to me was awesome. I think that is I think that's to have one as a lead blocker. You've got two guys. I think it just changes everything when you're running the ball. I did like that a lot.
Yeah, and I think with what Shamar Brown has shown in the passing game, he's a really good back.
Mm-hmm. Made that nice catch.
That one-handed catch
that was amazing. Yeah,
very impressive.
That was very.
Which, by the way, he should have had 3 touchdowns against.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Absolute garbage. They took that off the board. The 50-yarder, that was a touchdown.
And the refs apologized for that. I think.
Yeah, they said
they apologized. Oh, I mean, that was I forgot who we played last year. I think it was last year or the year before. They had it. It may have been Georgia Tech. The guy went in the middle, and it took about 5 or 6 seconds, and then he came out of it. This one was the guy got held for a second. It was like touch football, flat. I mean, and they called it. That was ridiculous. That would have been 20-0 game over. I think someone like Levitard, the more I think about it, maybe referring to, which I was disappointed. We won the game, and not to be negative, but 3 times at the 40 or 42-yard line with 4th and 5 or less, we are punting the ball. Now, one time we pinned the back there, and another time we should have got back there because the guy was in the end zone when he touched the ball. Obviously, if you get it at the 1-yard line, it works. But when you go to the 25-yard line, which is what happened twice, and we're getting 15 to 17 yards, I just think it takes away the confidence from your team.
Yeah, well, that and then just there was a bit of sputtering with the offense with drop passes and plays that weren't executed right. And then, for example, I know everyone talks about the interception that Beck threw to Cormani McClain, who, by the way, he didn't have such a warm welcome back to Miami between the fans and Inez Cooper trying to bully him. Mm-hmm. But on that pass from Beck, yes, should have there been a little more zip on that? Yes, maybe. It's kind of tough because he's kind of on the run, throwing it to Daniels. Ahead of him, though, Malachi Toney was open on a deep crosser. I think just the play just didn't develop correctly, or Beck didn't see it within time. But that could have been a deep ball touchdown there. But honestly, the other thing that doesn't get mentioned, and it's like Taco's been talking about this here, you mentioned, we also haven't played in a dry game Y'all remember that? That's correct. Every single week, it has been raining, weather delays at all of the sorts, raining, thunder, no full-on sunshine through any of the first 4 games. So it would be a nice change if Miami gets a dry game finally coming out of September.
No, that's a great point. And sometimes you don't realize. I Ubered out after at about 6:30 to that game, and or I should say Lyft, and I get dropped off at the end of and I ran through the parking lot, and it was pouring the whole way. And then when you're in your seat, you don't even notice, with the stadium the way it is. If you're on, you don't think about the rain as much. You see it on the field, but we're staying dry for most people. Not you, Gio, if you're on the field, but
yeah, no, I've gotten wet every single week.
No, it's been crazy. And, our ball control and the way we've handled the ball, I mean, you got to give credit to the team for that.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony, let's see. You King God, nobody likes Dan. Okay. We won't go there right now, but that may be true.
Anthony Montano said, Gio, I keep on reading more reports that the top target for both Florida and Virginia Tech is Coach Dawson. If he ends up going to one of those schools, who do we replace him with? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Like I've said before, I know people in the past were concerned if Coach Dawson would take a job like Rice or a smaller G5 school. I've said this countless times in the past that Coach Dawson's not going to jump at a job unless it's a big one. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why he's spent his time here at Miami. It's all about leverage. The more that you show and the more that you produce, the more bigger programs will get interested. I'd be shocked if he ended up at Florida. I don't think he would end up there. I think an outside-the-box pick for Florida that no one is talking about, Jed Fish. Jed Fish at Washington, former Miami OC, was also a UF grad, coach there under Steve Spurrier way back. I could see him bouncing from Washington and heading back home to coach the Gators. I think that's the pick that they're not talking about. They're talking about Lane Kiffin this, Dan Lanning that. I think they need to get more realistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if Dawson goes, I mean, he's been good with to me, if we have to keep one coach, I don't want Heatherman going anywhere for a long, long time. I know that would be the case on it. But that guy is a difference maker. Nothing against Dawson, because Dawson has had he deserves if he gets a head coaching job. But I hope Heatherman sticks here for a few years, like Dawson has. Taco with the shout out to C's. Yes, awesome human being. McAfee jumping into the pool was epic. That was just unbelievable, I thought. And actually, when he was walking back, he saw Caesar in the wheelchair, and he knew him, and high-fived was awesome. Like Garrett's saying, God, he's everywhere. He is. But that was fantastic. Coming to Miami and jumping into a pool with the speedo. Not too many people can do that, can pull that off. It's that's why I said, is he really taking it all off? I mean, I thought maybe he was going to push someone in or something, but that was incredible.
By the way, we've had over 1,300 listening live, late night crew.
Wow.
10 o'clock at night on a Thursday. Thank you, everyone, for the support. Just check the numbers through the streams.
That is amazing, and I would say even on I know we had a record amount of people watching. Even on my X, it was like a few thousand people had looked at it. So that's awesome. Let's see, Kubish Jojo. Hopefully he's ready to roll. I expect more to be a big part of the next game. C's is awesome despite being a Knowles fan. That is true. He says he's rooting for the Canes all the time because the Canes were now, except for when they play the Knowles. And Chucky is a genuine as they come. Lundy says he's a Canes fan too. All right, yeah. We're trying to get when we've had the signings, I think we had Verhage, we gave him some Canes stuff. When the guys come in the store, we're trying to give them some Canes items so they go ahead and represent the Canes. So that we want them to all to be part of the U. When you come to South Florida, all the teams should support each other, and that's a great thing. And we want the 2-time back-to-back champions to rub off on all the teams, but especially the Canes. Let's see. Taco.
King God said, do we get a flip for the Louisville game? Well, Miami just got a flip yesterday. I mentioned that over on the weekend on the private board. The morning after the UF game, I said expect this to happen soon. I dropped the pick in there, and sure enough, he committed this week.
The DT?
Now, yeah, the DT. They love him. He's originally from Haiti. He's about 6'4", 6'5", 290. Little bit raw, but has his best ahead of him, and they love the development that's coming from Coach Damian Lewis and Jason Taylor on the D line. So there's a lot of trust there with what can happen with him down the line. But he's viewed more as a developmental prospect. But still, a lot of big schools hopped in for him recently with his team. You had Auburn, Oklahoma, Florida, Florida State, Michigan State. Those are some serious offers.
We've been out. I mean, people talk about the ones we lose, but they don't bring up the ones we win and beat these teams on.
Yeah. But on the question about another flip before the Louisville game, I'll have to find out. Nothing imminent right now, but Miami's working on quite a few guys. They had a whole bunch of flip targets in for the Florida game, and some of that went well. And the other thing, too, is this week they're out on the road visiting these guys for their high school games or stopping by for out-of-state prospects as well. So they're making their rounds, and a couple of names that they were involved with over the summer that they're trying to check back in on. Guys like Isaiah Kent and, oh, my God, what's the safety from the state of Georgia? Well, Tyreek Green was already down, but they're checking in on Blake Stewart as well, especially with how bad Clemson's doing this year. And just a little nugget that his family, because of the school that he goes to, Woodward Academy, private school type of education, they've kind of been inclined towards that more the academic side, which is why Vanderbilt was a finalist for him this summer and Miami. So that could come into play. Just kind of keep that under the cap and see as it goes.
Interesting point by 1 milligram of epinephrine. Thanks for joining the show. Kent State's last Power 4 win was October 2017.
There we go. Like I said, Florida State has not played anyone for the last 2 weeks. Yes, the Alabama win was good. However, you asked me personally, I think Alabama kind of bounced back from that shocking loss to Florida State. Have you seen how they played? I know Wisconsin's not doing great, but they totally demolished Wisconsin. They're going to play Georgia this weekend. I'm not going to be shocked at all if Alabama makes that a game or potentially wins that. It's not like Alabama's devoid of talent. I think personally, Alabama was caught off guard that they thought they had a cakewalk coming in there into Doak Campbell Stadium to play Florida State, especially off the season they had.
I thought we were going to do that to Alabama a few years ago, actually. They have the new OC and everything like that, but Nick Saban wasn't going to let that happen. I was sure that we were going to beat Alabama. So how would you that's right. In 2017, we were number 2. So 8 years ago.
How would you defend FSU offense and attack FSU's defense? So when it comes to FSU's offense, same game plan that you had against USF. I think it's a very similar schematic-wise. Some variances, a little more read option in Florida State's game plan with Gus Malzahn, but I think you play it very similarly to that. I think Miami's defensive ends are very disciplined. They're the best duo in the country. The statistics back it up too. It's not just hype or talk. Miami's played real opponents, and those guys have gotten it done. So I trust Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor and the rest of that defensive line to handle their assignments, and especially staying disciplined within contain as well. You play it very similar to how you did USF. I do think Florida State has better athletes at receiver compared to USF, so Miami's defensive backs will have to be prepared, potentially being out on an island at times, so they have to be ready to make plays. So, yeah, I'd say that with their offense. And keep an eye on Makahi Danzy at all times. He's an absolute weapon. And on their defense, though, I think personally they have good defensive backs. I still have questions about their edge rushers and still some questions about their linebackers too. So I think it may be another game where you see Miami lean on the run again.
Shaboy Kane, yes, if Virginia plays well against FSU, their fans will say Virginia is better than UF, USF, and UF. Watch. All righty. we will look out for that. Taco wanted Danzy as well. Okay.
Miami was after him.
We didn't get him, unfortunately, but obviously, yeah. I hope we just on them quick and fast. We adjust on them quick and fast. I'd like to see Wiley Jr. get some reps this week.
Yep. It's Kellen Wiley's father, Kellen Wiley Sr., freshman linebacker on the team. He had about, I think it was like 5 or 6 tackles a couple weeks back in the Bethune-Cookman games. Played really well on special teams as well. I could see his son getting more reps as the year goes on. I know they're still kind of figuring that rotation at linebacker.
Well, I think that that could. I mean, I feel it could be anyone's game, but I do think the Canes are going to handle them easily, and that would be great to have a lot of guys going, especially a rivalry like that, and get to experience it.
But I think Florida State will be up with the injury. Like, they'll get up for this game with the energy they have behind the program and a hot start to the season. I think it's going to be highly contested through that first half, but I just think Miami is just a much more physical team. We'll talk more about it next week, but as I continue to dissect Florida State, yes, good numbers on offense, but they've barely played anyone with a pulse of the defense so far. I do think that it's going to be one of those games where Florida State they'll have the energy and they'll be up for it, but Miami, they'll lean on their physicality in the second half and pull away.
We can finally say it's been a long time since we can say this about the Canes in the trenches. The Mike Tyson famous line, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And we have the team that now can do it. It's kind of exciting. It's been a long time. Kubish, see ball, get ball. Absolutely. I think we should make a shirt like that or something like that. See ball, get ball.
Yeah.
I think would be a really cool one. Kubish, much love to you as well. Thanks for popping in. New King, as long as we take away the big plays and contain their QB, force them to throw outside the numbers, we will be fine.
I agree.
Yeah, so we didn't have against the Gators. We had a couple of mistakes against USF, a couple of breakdowns. We had one against Notre Dame. Against Florida, we really didn't have one, which was good to see, where we just let guys open so that was a really good thing to see. Kellen Wiley, Danzy is a 10.5 guy in the 100. Wow.
Yeah, he's fast.
Good news, Gio, Duck is here.
Duck is here.
Duck is here, everybody.
I've answered your question every week. He's up. Duck asked the really important question every week. Are we going to be able to run the ball and get first downs consistently? Duck, yes. Even on the bye week, we will.
That's good. That's good. I agree on that. Duck, we have gone ahead.
Let me tell you, Duck has always, as long as I've known Duck on X, I love his posts sometimes because sometimes he says some of the craziest things. He'll share. He'll share. Why would I root for these players? They lost to Syracuse last year. They deserve nothing from me. He keeps it real. So
he definitely does. He definitely does.
He's always emphasized about establishing the run and being a physical team. And I think this is a team that Duck can actually get behind.
No doubt. And when it comes to running right now, the only thing better than our running game is how we stop the run. Because how we stop the run is phenomenal. I mean, this team crashed it, but we are running great. And we haven't even seen really Jordan Lyle yet.
Yeah, it'll happen soon. Kind of that ankle injury that he had early on in Notre Dame. He had a really good week leading up into that game, so it's unfortunate, but plenty of time off. He's been dressed, but they haven't forced it. No need to force it with wet conditions. And
exactly. You're true. It's been raining every game.
So,
given the fact that all the games we played have been raining, can that be an issue with the wide receivers getting open? And why not use Ray? He's fasting and helps stretch the field. That's where New King got.
Yeah, I noticed this past game they took Ray off kickoff return. He didn't get any receiver snaps either, so kind of is what it is there. In terms of the wide receivers, like I had mentioned earlier, just wasn't so much problem with Tony. Daniels is not a guy that beats you off the line with his speed. Physical guy, though, strong hands as well. Surprisingly, had a drop last week. That's the guy's only dropped leading up to that game. He's only dropped 5 passes in over I think he's had 70, 80 games he's played in so far. So yeah, that's like an anomaly. He may not drop another pass for the rest of the year. That's how good.
We had a couple of drops in this game, but I do think the ball had something to do with it affecting everybody. Luckily, there wasn't any balls put on the ground for either one. And Florida, Florida's the fans I heard they're saying, we didn't give up. We gave up one touchdown against LSU, and we turned the ball over 5 interceptions. Well, you know what? They gave up 3 touchdowns to us, and they didn't turn it over once, if I recall. Correct?
Yeah.
And if you count the Brown
some of that was by design too. Like, I'll be honest with you. I think if I was Billy Napier going into that Miami game, I was probably telling DJ Lagway, don't you dare throw beyond 10 yards because you're going to screw it up.
There's nothing like that.
And you pretty much saw that. Everything was short, quick stuff, and Miami's defense was swarming to the ball on all of that. So, however, though, on the last part of his question about Ray, the reality is barring some injury, God forbid, Malachi Tony's not coming off the field that slot. Mm-hmm. He's just not. And Ray is strictly a slot receiver. They don't really use him at the Z either. Doesn't really fit there. So kind of is what it is.
And that's basically what Jacoby says right there. Who would you take off the field to put Ray in? I mean, Ray's behind, obviously, the 2 other guys, Trader and Moore, correct?
Yeah, well, they all kind of play different positions. So, like, Trader plays a lot more as a Z. I know CJ Daniels could play some X as well, playing the Z right now. Josh Moore, in my opinion, though, should be starting as Miami's X receiver. Absolutely. Just, I don't get it. I don't know why he didn't play more against Florida, but it is what it is.
New King God, it feels like we have all the pieces to beat any defense, but the staff likes to be conservative and doesn't seem to trust all the players. I want to see more creativity, at least in the games like FSU.
I think, in fairness, I don't think there's necessarily been the need to. I think also you go back to last year at times where Miami relied too much on the pass rather than probably just run the ball to win the game. They could have done that against Syracuse. They could have leaned on their run or even their kicking game against Georgia Tech last year and could have won. Spoke with a couple people around the program actually after that Georgia Tech game, and some had strong feelings on it that why didn't we lean on the run if the passing game wasn't there? Right. Why didn't we use one of the best kickers in the country in Andy Borregales? It's just, it is what it is. It
against
is what
Syracuse too. We could have gone to the run more often. I mean, they could not tackle Martinez. And there was one drive, I think it was 2 drives, but I know one that we won 3 and out, 3 straight passes, and 2 bubble screens, 2 little quicks, and one. It's like we're going to the McDaniel Tua formula, throwing those quick screens. I know the ball was wet and everything like that. I think we were still 13-0 when we went out 3 and out real quickly. And we completed 2 passes, and we didn't get any yards anyway. So I was disappointed when they go away from the run completely. Because, I think Mario's plan is to wear down the defensive line, wear down the defense, have our guys lean on them for the 4th quarter. We did it anyway.
I think one of the beauties of that is when you have a guy like Jordan Lyle who will be full on go very soon, especially if it's dry field. That could be dangerous in the 4th quarter with a tired defense. Because he has home run threat ability.
Marcus almost broke a couple. I mean, he just is just 1 tackle away.
He doesn't get enough credit. I'll put it to you this way: the ACC conference, they've released like their players of the week the last few weeks and whatnot. Mark Fletcher has graded out as the best running back in the ACC this entire season. He's also considered like the 7th or 8th best running back in the Power 4 this season, the first through September, basically. September's almost over. And still no ACC running back of the week, surprisingly, because
that is surprising. I saw him graded out.
Yeah.
It's whoever's wearing number 4 for the Canes this year is dominating.
Yeah.
Castellanos doesn't scare me, but Gus Malzahn does, Ralph says. So I guess as long as Gus Malzahn, if he wants to line up a quarterback, I'll be quite happy. But But yes, I'm sure
Ewoody shared from YouTube. Since Marty Brown has been playing so good, would you still prefer Marty over Jordan Lyle at this point in the season, Gio? I don't think there's going to be anything about preference. I know that once that Jordan Lyle is like completely cleared, good to go, that they're comfortable with it, putting him back on the field, it's still going to be by committee. It was always going to be by committee with those three guys. Mm-hmm. So Lyle will get his fair share when he's ready to go. And it's not like a question of, oh, is he not going to play? He is going to play once he's ready to go. And Miami Connect asked here, Jordan Lyle breakout game versus Florida State would be a good time. He was looking really good going into the Notre Dame game. That's why he got the start.
Absolutely. So, funny you said that. ACC Digital Network said a few hours ago, I'm sure you saw that one. Mark Fletcher is built for the U. Second in the ACC in rushing. 250 of his 388 yards are after contact. Back-to-back 100-yard games. At 6'2", 225, Fletcher is punishing defenses and powering the Canes offense. I don't think he gets enough credit this year of how good he is doing.
No, he's doing really well. He's having his most complete season right now. He's on pace, at least right now, with how the numbers are figuring out and whatnot. He could be another 1,000-yard back for Miami. Mm-hmm. And that's good because, at other places around the country, they'll let you be the guy. At Miami, you share the ball with other playmakers. Mm-hmm. So to get 1,000 here, it's a nice feat.
Yeah, which is good in their long run if they can do that. Helps them in the pros and everything like that they're not beaten up in college football. Kabich is rooting for a normal weather game, too. So there you go. We got another voter for it.
Let's see. Canes Jones. What's up, Gio and Mr. Brett? You win somehow, some way. Nasty wins are still wins. Shannon used what he needed to. And if we needed to win another way, I'm sure he would have did something different. I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree. It's been nasty weather conditions through the first few games.
No doubt about it. Giovanni Foster, welcome to the show. Do you see Ray Moore versus FSU? And can we please see Elijah Lofton more?
I agree. More Elijah Lofton. I absolutely agree. I know he was nursing something from late.
He looked like limping a couple of times in this game.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked good. It looked like nothing was really hampering him much anymore while he was playing. So get him involved more. And actually, his 4 catches, I think they all went for moving the chains. It was like first downs.
Yeah. That one
that touchdown too.
To Bowman that wasn't even ready for. That was crazy. He wasn't even looking up at the ball. It could have been a big play.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest with Bowman from Tulane, the transfer. I'm surprised it hasn't clicked yet. He's had a couple opportunities to even get touchdowns and just hasn't finished strong. I have question marks on him right now, honestly. That wasn't the feedback I was getting out of camp. It hasn't translated to the field yet. Miami's got some young tight ends behind him too. So if it doesn't get clicking, then we'll see what happens because Brock Schott's very talented. Luka Gilbert has something to say too. They have other guys. So hopefully it gets going for him, but it hasn't looked good early on.
And he had 15 touchdowns, right, in the last 2 years?
Yeah, he had like 14 or 15 touchdowns. And he only had like 38 or 40 catches on all those. So like he was mainly just a red zone target.
Mullet Run saying, Gio, the Ducks saying, Gio, good job predicting that Canes would be able to run on the early downs in the first half.
Thank you, Duck. I think this team is capable of doing that all year.
Absolutely. Danielle Castillo, welcome to the show. Do you think Dawson is head coach material?
I think so. I think with the right fit. I think Oklahoma State would be a good fit for him. Now, the question begins, though, like, let's say he went to a program like Oklahoma State and try to revolutionize there. They need to put the assets around him, like the compensation factor, if you will, like NIL and whatnot. I know that hasn't been around for the last few years and why things kind of dissipated towards the end of Gundy's career. He's still a man, but he's not 40 anymore.
I wonder where he's going to end up.
Yeah.
So it's obviously he had a great career.
Oh yeah,
I
tremendous.
mean, just every coach, it's difficult. You go out there every single year, and the whole NIL changes everything. How old is he?
End of an era.
How old is he now? Do you think?
Well, when he said that 40 comment, it was like the late 2000s, so he's got to be almost 60s or 60s already. Yeah.
He's been there for a while. Dee's Din, welcome to the show. Gio, any thoughts on why we don't tush push when we should?
Yeah, that's kind of true. But then again, you see the offensive linemen, especially guys like Inez Cooper and Francis Mauanoa, they're always guilty of this. I shouldn't say guilty because it's a good thing. Pushing the pile. You always see those.
We push the pile as good as I've ever seen. That usually happens to us, not for us. That we're usually getting pushed around. So it's a good point. And we haven't missed on too many M1s, right? We pretty much get it whenever we want. So I always thought the tush push. I mean, you got a guy that works with Jalen Hurts. He can squat, what, 500 pounds or so? He's a beast. One of the strongest quarterbacks there's ever been.
Daniel Castillo also mentioned Dawson doesn't like to recruit. That depends to an extent. Dawson has also been hands-on when it comes to certain guys in the past that I've seen it personally and up close. So I think there's a little discourse on that. However, I think in this day and age, I think, yes, recruiting is important and the relationship factor is important, but it's a lot about the Benjamins now. Oklahoma State didn't go from being a competitive team year in, year out to bottom of the barrel now. Just overnight. That happened with just not making the commitment towards furthering your program and the era that we're in now with NIL.
No, you have to have a young coach or a coach that wants to do it. That's for sure. Dawson taking the Venables route, stayed with Clemson until he got a big job like Oklahoma. Smart.
I agree, Taco.
That's a great point because a lot of guys jump at a job and it's not the best job. And there's nothing worse.
He's had offers already. Like people have said, like, "Oh, what if Dawson leaves?" Or whatever. Like, no, like he's already had offers. If a big job comes along, then yeah, it could definitely happen. But there hasn't been any reasoning for him to jump at a small job. He knows the position he's in, and he's got a position of leverage. You're coming off of Cam Ward to Carson Beck. His options are going to be really good in the coaching carousel.
And I'd rather be the offense coordinator of a high-ranking offense every year, okay, with that giant offensive line, than some guy. I mean, he may be ready for the coaching, but there's a lot of guys that have tried to do it, and it just doesn't work out for them. And
and it's also about the right situation and right fit. So, like, for example, I see Florida fans talking about this nonstop about, like, oh, we need to bring Lane Kiffin here. We need to bring Lane Kiffin. I'm going to give ultimate pushback on why I think Lane Kiffin would be a terrible fit with Florida. Number one, Lane Kiffin has been through the ringer as a head coach. He's been fired from places, been left on the tarmac, everything under the sun. He also had to cut his teeth to get back into being a head coach again. He had to cut his teeth as an OC all over again after the Raiders and USC and Tennessee and all that. The other thing, the expectations at a place like Ole Miss are much smaller than a place like Florida. Florida fans, if you are not a competitive team or competing for a national title within 3 to 4 years, they want you out of there. Are you willing to risk that for comparison to having a cushy job like Ole Miss where, yeah, you win 8 or 9 games, the occasional 10 or 11, but we're not really expecting national championships here.
They've never been considered, in my opinion, a power in any sport.
Yeah.
You're right.
Oh, so. Look at it this way, Brett. Ed Orgeron used to be the head coach at Ole Miss in the mid-2000s. He didn't win a national title until he went to LSU. Sometimes there's levels to it. So as a coach, especially like a guy like Shannon Dawson, would you want to jump at a job where the likelihood is much higher to get fired within 3 years' time, or even sometimes 2 years' time? There's coaches getting fired as second-year guys now, like early on into the second year.
The boosters will buy them out really quickly now. There's so much money. Let's see. Jojo Gunn, coach. I guess that's something part of something else there. But welcome to the show. Canes Jones, too bad we found Corey and Coach O is ready to come back. Although he would just use his next DC job as a refresher to become a head coach. So I'm good with Corey next 4 to 5 years before they come calling.
Yeah, he's talking about Corey Heatherman. Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree. I think Corey Heatherman, I just hope he's here as long as he
it's like, here's the thing. Brett, I know you'll agree with this because you've been quite the Miami historian with the Canes football program over time. I'm sure you remember all the good times that have come along the way. A sign of a good program is when your coordinators are moving on to bigger positions. It's always a sign of a great program.
Exactly.
That happened with Miami's national championship teams. Guys would move on to another job. Like, for example, Greg Schiano, he went on to Rutgers, and now he's back with Rutgers again, actually. Shout out to Greg Schiano. He's been doing a good job with them. But to stay on track here, it's a sign of a good program. Like Nick Saban went through this at Alabama. I don't understand like this thought process, at least from some Miami fans. I'm not saying all, but some who say, man, what if Dawson leaves or what if this guy leaves? So what? If you have reached that point as a program, Nick Saban dealt with this too, that you got to bring another guy in. But I think what also happens too is when you establish yourself as a great program, you attract top flight offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators to come in and potentially elevate up to wanting to become a head coach or become an OC in the NFL or whatever the case may be. So I think that's always the biggest sign of a great program. So if that starts happening, Miami is on the right trajectory.
No doubt about it. You're right. Alabama had it in the NFL. Obviously, Bill Parcells, all those guys became coaches somewhere else. And our coaches, obviously, Howard Schnellenberger went to what he thought was going to be a new football league. It didn't work out, but then he coached several places. Jimmy Johnson went to the Dallas Cowboys. Dennis Erickson went to Seattle Seahawks. These guys left. Butch Davis went to the Cleveland Browns. And I remember everybody said, well, the good thing is Larry Coker wants to be here. He's never going to go anywhere. And what happened to him? Larry
Coker was a disaster with recruiting.
Exactly. So that's a guy that nobody would have wanted probably for a coach, but we had him. Now, Mario's, they said the same thing about Shannon. Shannon will be here forever. But what happened with Shannon? Now, they're saying the same thing about Mario, so hopefully I'm totally wrong now on the whole thing, and Mario does stay here. Because I can see Mario
I think Mario has shown a good job in terms of evaluation, particularly.
Yeah, because I don't plan on Mario going, unless one day he does so well here, he says, you know what, I want to try the NFL. But the only reason he'll do that is if we're a championship team. Mario needs to get at least one championship here. So if Mario decides after winning a couple of championships to leave, I can live with that. Get me the championships, Mario. That's what you want. A coach. He comes here and wins. Wish him all the luck.
Ralph
any word on the new league photos on uniforms? Will they be wearing those? Is that the camouflage uniform?
The military one? I haven't gotten any confirmation on that.
We believe they are. I mean, Adidas believes they are. Well, it's leaked already. It's 10-1. They're for sale. We're supposed to have them. Somebody leaked them, and we're supposed to have them by 10-1, but we'll see. But I don't know. It's going to be in Mario's hands. We know Mario doesn't. He may play in orange all year. If we keep winning,
the last time Miami wore military uniforms, this was back. I think you got to go back to. Was it 2016? Or 2015? You remember that? It was like the sand-colored jerseys.
Correct, the sand-colored jersey. But
yeah, I think they played against Virginia that time. Yeah.
Yeah, but the last time we had anything to do with camo was 1986 against Penn State. When they wore the camo off the plane, and we know what happened there. But we should have won that game. But yeah, so we'll see. I think it's a possibility. We'll know more soon.
Ralph, Anthony Tank Jones equals possible flip. Yes, Miami's pushing there. They had him down for the Notre Dame game. He came back for the Florida game. Potentially one more visit as well. Oregon obviously still involved, him being committed there. Texas A&M is a big thorn in the side, and Alabama and Auburn are lingering around too. I don't want to jump to say possible flip yet. Miami is involved. Still think it's a little too early to jump the gun on that just yet.
Interesting point by Kane Jones. Too many players out for UVA. I didn't see that, but that's interesting to make a difference on the offense. Maybe conceding this game to heal up for the rest of their schedule. They might give it all, but too many players sitting out. I didn't know they had a lot of injuries.
I mean, to counterpoint that, though, I'll give some credit to Florida from this past week. I know it's a totally different team, but they had some of their top guys out on the defensive line, and their defensive line still had a somewhat decent game against Miami. I thought Miami would have dominated them a little more up front, at least with the offensive line and the tackles.
JB, military uniforms for standard, confirmed or rumor? I think we're going to see, but I wouldn't count it out. But then again, it's Mario's obviously going to make the final decision.
Taco asked here, what players on Florida would you want on UM? I think this is an easy question for me. Jaden Baugh, I think, could definitely play at Miami. I think Vernell Brown could definitely play at Miami. Defensively, Caleb Banks could definitely play at Miami. I think LJ McRae could play at Miami. Who else I would throw in there? Bryce Thornton as well. And Ben Hanks. Those guys, I think they could definitely play at Miami.
All right. That's pretty good when you only can name a handful of players. That's really a good thing. You know, that says a lot about
Roy Kane said here, Ray Joseph is transferring. He will redshirt, just my opinion.
I agree with that.
I could see that. I wouldn't blame the kid. You know what? He's cut his teeth. He's put in his time here. He's never been a trouble guy. I know sometimes people give him a bad rap because of the connections to Luke and whatnot. At the end of the day, I know this kid. Great kid. Yes, it's a tough situation, especially Malachi Tony coming in, and it's such a special player and what he's done early on. Things could change throughout the year. Like I said earlier, God forbid an injury happens or whatever. You know, sometimes you're one play away. But Malachi Tony's just realistically not going to come off the field at the slot position, and that's what Ray plays. It's a tough situation because Ray does have talent. I've seen this before. He was even doing really well with Carson Beck early on in fall camp. It just it didn't happen. However, I would not be surprised. Let's say hypothetically Ray did go to another program. I would not be surprised at all if he found success. And I do believe he could start on a lot of rosters around the country. I absolutely believe that. And I think we could see that take place.
Has he been in every game but this last one?
Yeah, just about.
So is that possibly why he was pulled?
I haven't been given anything concrete on it, but if you ask me personally, like, would it be wise for him to potentially take a shirt and go somewhere and have 2 years? I absolutely believe so.
I agree.
I absolutely believe so.
All you need is one good year. So you got 2 years left. Wish him all the luck. Blue FanDuel only has Miami at -4.5 against FSU. Are you surprised it's that low, or it's what you expected? I'm surprised. I thought the Canes would be favored, but I'm surprised it's even 4.5 that high, because we only were 7.5 against the Gators at home.
I could see that line moving after the Virginia game.
Yeah. But I'm surprised 4.5. Like, why was the Florida game only 7.5? That was crazy. A one-win Florida team. I know they lost those games, could have won, but we've got an undefeated FSU team here. That being said, lay the points. New King God, I understand how good Tony is, but given the fact Ray hasn't played much, playing him at times can catch teams off guard, especially with the extra focus on Tony. And that's a good point. Yeah.
Taco said, how much does Mario have a say in the offense? He does have a say to an extent, but play calling ultimately falls down on to Shannon Dawson. New King God, imagine Ray lining up in the backfield and gets a one-on-one with a linebacker. I'm not saying play him over Tony, but he has talent. How can you not use it and watch your wide receiver struggle to get open against you? I'll say this. I've mentioned this before about Ray. I think Ray would fit really well into the role that Miami had similarly before for Brashard Smith. I I think he would fit like great as like a gadget type that some sweeps, screen passes. I think he's a yak guy too. You got to get him in space and quick passes for him to work with. It just hasn't played out that way. Again, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I do think he could play in the backfield too. I think he has some traits as a running back as well. So whatever the scenario is that plays out with Ray, I know some people have come down really hard on the kid and said jokes or this or that. He's still really talented. And I'm not saying this just to be nice about the kid. He actually has the talent to play at this level. It's just, again, you got a guy like Malachi Tony who comes in and is a very special talent from day one. It's hard from a coaching perspective to try to stunt that growth too.
Yeah, but I could see a couple of drives, especially if he's playing this. He was doing the returns, throwing him in for a series or two, just as a change of pace, designing a play for him. We weren't moving the ball against Notre Dame for a few drives, but yeah, it's got to be difficult for a kid like Ray. A freshman comes in. Ray was supposed to be a star. A freshman, he had a great camp, as you said, and then someone comes in and takes your place.
Yeah, Beck and Ray actually had really good chemistry early on in fall camp. It's just, it is what it is.
Let's see. Brett, do you have any orange or green or orange or green or both polos from last season? It's like the white ones Coach Mario has been wearing the past few games, but of course an orange or green or both large. I don't think we have them, Eddie, but while we take the next question, I'll take a quick look at the inventory and check. But I think we're especially now that we had it was 4 home games. We are getting new polos. We have the orange and green coming. We've got some other polos coming, but I don't believe we have them from last year. If I see it differently, I'll let you know it when I take a look at inventory.
New King God asked Carson Beck or Fernando Mendoza, the former Christopher Columbus quarterback who's now at Indiana.
They're playing good.
I know this is going to sound crazy to some people. I want to see Indiana play some more teams, actually. I said throughout the offseason, people could agree with this who've been around me or in group chats with me. I've said that I don't understand for the life of me why Illinois gets hyped up as much as they have been in the polls and whatnot. I just don't see it with them. I think they're just an average team. So Indiana beating them down didn't surprise me. Kurt Cignetti does a really good job with his offense. You saw it last year with the quarterback they had. I forget his name now, but he had a good year last year too. And he didn't really get a lot of NFL looks. However, I think Mendoza is a better pro prospect than him. Staying on track here, though. I'm not saying Fernando Mendoza is bad, but I do think there's a lot of overhyping coming off of that one game. I want to see how he fares against some of the other Big Ten teams before we kind of put a determination on all of that. By the way, Fernando Mendoza still has 1 more year left too. So,
really?
Yeah.
So you think he could be here in Miami? He wanted to come, didn't he?
There was some slight interest, but Miami already kind of had inclination of which direction they were going to go even beforehand. But I don't think it hurts with the type of season he's having. But then again, he may go pro, so we'll see.
Eddie, we don't have any of those in stock right now, but we do have some other Adidas polos that are similar coming. They've been late coming for this year, so I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Carl P. said, everybody said I was worrying for nothing about USF. Figuring out how to getting our guys to go offside. They showed UF our weakness. We could have lost the game because of that. I hate USF. We need to fix this. I agree with the simulated the simulation of the snap. I know exactly what you mean, Carl. They definitely do need to work on that through the bye week. It kind of stalled some drives where Brockemeyer had a couple false starts and whatnot. So yeah, that is something they do need to work on this bye week. So they got about 2 weeks to fix it. We'll see what the progress is with that. 818 Calican's got a question for you, Brett. Sup, fellas? Any word on the new era hats, white and black hats?
We are actually, since you guys asked, we spoke to New Era. We're working on getting the New Era hats. Hopefully we'll have them for the second part of the season. We're going to see really what they have in stock. They did have quite a bit, so we're trying to finalize that. They had to shake up a new era. There's a little bit of merging with 47 brands, so there's some changes up in their home office. But we're getting closer, 818.
So No Lack puts here, when will we see the real debut of JoJo Trader? I think it's coming soon.
All right. Him and
I-
Jordan Lyle, we're back together. Maybe they're waiting for each other.
Well, the thing with that, too, is those were two of the guys who were doing really well throughout the offseason.
Mhm.
And to see how well Miami has done without those two guys factoring in much, it's encouraging.
Can you imagine a few years ago if two of our top guys coming in are hurt? It's like, okay, who are we going to play?
Yeah. Carlos Montilla, would Miami have been better off going after Mendoza than Carson Beck in the portal? I still think it's way too early to say.
Carson Beck, I see all these shirts. The U is Beck. Everyone's got
U is
something
Beck.
like Beck. He had a tough game, and everybody, and I understand that, Carlos. Everybody is kind of like talking about is Beck. But he was the leading candidate for the Heisman Trophy and he may still be.
I think he'll bounce back. It's normal. Cam Ward even had a game where he was sputtering last year. It happens. But that's where great teams are able to lean on another side of their roster.
Exactly.
The strength that Miami has shown that they can do. Not
all great teams have to rely on one side of the ball sometimes.
Daniel Castillo, was there noise of Beck grabbing his shoulder and stuff? I've heard about that. I didn't really see that. He was fine even after the game. Just smiling with the guys, happy and whatnot. So, 2 weeks off and everything, that's plenty of time for rest. Philip Brooks, on another podcast show, it was mentioned that 3 players from Broward and Dade County were going to transfer at the end of the season. I guess you're talking about from other teams. Look, around this time of the year, there are players that are putting out feelers through their agents and trying to speak with people from schools and whatnot. There's so much tampering that goes on now. However, a lot of that is just talk and rumor until transfer portal season comes around in December. It's so far away and so much can change, and guys could get hurt or guys can break out in one game and then the rest of the season they have a really good year. There's so much that can come into play. So I will say, though, I'm not going to say names, but there were about 3 or 4 players, actually, that I was informed of from Florida's roster that were already putting out feelers through their agents, because a lot of these kids have agents now, about wanting to transfer to another program even before they played Miami. So things are not exactly sunny in Gainesville at all, aside from the Napier situation, just roster retention too.
If you suck as a coach at Miami, the West End Zone will fly banners. It will also fly banners if you're with the Dolphins, as they did for Chris Perry and Mike McDaniel this week.
The West End Zone isn't for the weak. Globe says here, October 4th, let's go. Rivalry is back. Go FSU. Wow, we got a Florida State fan. Hey, you know what? I've said this. I could actually be quoted on this because I've said this multiple times. I think it's better for college football when Miami and Florida State are doing well.
This was the ACC's dream when they first got them. They put them at different ends of the conference, and they said, we got 2 of the best teams in the histories in college football for the last 10 years, 15 years, and we're going to milk this baby. They did get the national championship from FSU, though.
Oh, I was right on the camo unis earlier. Taco said 2015 versus Virginia was the last camo unis. I remember that. It was like a sand color or something along those lines. I know Stacy Coley had a really good game that day, too. Let's see. 818 Cali Kane asked about the New Era hats. No Lack. When will we see JoJo Trade? We already answered that. It's the wealth and income inequality, stupid. Losing the Syracuse game was a blessing in disguise. I think so in a way. I think it also made Miami self-diagnosed too that, hey, maybe we are slinging the ball around a little too much. Maybe we need to lean on the run a little more. Maybe we need to be a little more balanced. I do think they took that into account.
Would we have had the same defensive coordinator if we got to the playoffs?
Oh, wait, that what?
We would not have changed defensive coordinators, probably.
No, I think it still would have happened regardless.
Even if we got to the playoffs? Okay.
Yeah, there was things going on internally, and let's just say a couple of coaches were not vibing at all.
All right.
It was not.
Well, that's good to know. But I would have taken that Syracuse game right now. Not to say we would have sold 500 or 1,000 starter jackets because it would have been cold, but maybe we would
have. Ralph from YouTube shares, Ray Joseph comes from a great family. Yes, he does. And is a really good kid. Yes, he is. He's a model student, a hard worker. He has the talent too. I know when people hear me say the other parts, they're like, oh, maybe he's not that good. People assume that. No, he actually is talented. He loves the U2. I wish him the best. I absolutely agree. No matter what happens, what he decides from here, whether he wants to stay or go somewhere else or whatever the case may be, he is a great kid. And he absolutely loves this school. And he's absolutely cut his teeth here, too. He's put in his time. Findetta from X. Brett stopped by the show on game day and got new gear from the fam. Picked the 5 Rings POW shirt.
All right, Findetta, thank you very much. That's our CanesWear original. That 5 Rings POW shirt is awesome. We have it in every color. And, I think I'm gonna, if we win or when we win, I'm going to have to make it a 6 rings. We're going to have a second hand up there somewhere. So, yes, thank you, Findetta, for stopping by the shop. We appreciate all of our amazing CanesWear family.
You got to do the 6th one with the middle finger on the other hand.
I've always wanted to come up with baseball 1-1. I always wanted 2 rings with 5, putting up the U with 5. If baseball would win it. Now I can I could possibly do that, baseball and football, but baseball's got to get back into it. But you're right. Putting up the thing would be kind of cool.
I think people would love that.
Mm-hmm. Now, is CanesWear putting out any Smack shirts, FSU game? We have the FS Poo. We've got a couple that will roll out. But after those first 4 crazy weeks, we're hoping to roll out a couple by game week. Thanks for the question, Blue. Everybody said it was. We answered that one before, right?
Brett, I got a question too, because I know some people have been requesting this. Has there been any feedback yet on the Malachi Tony jerseys or some of the others?
I mean, his mom is a regular in the store, and the jerseys, NIL jerseys are definitely. We waited too long on a few of them, but we definitely have them coming in. We need number 10, number 4. Both 4s. We got Fletcher, but our goal is to have them by the FSU game.
Okay. Carl P said, everybody said I was wearing for. Okay, so we already answered that. Canes Jones said, Brett, save some time for the fans on October 3rd from 6 to 8 p.m. Canes Jones is talking. So I'm going to be on there. Alex Dono, a whole bunch of other people that do podcasts or cover Miami in the media. We're all going on a Twitter space from 6 to 8 p.m. on October 3rd, Friday night, to talk some ball ahead of Miami FSU. So it's going to be a fun time.
I'm sure that will be. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, Canes Jones.
Taco mentioned here, more than half of Fernando Mendoza's touchdowns are on screen passes. That is true. That's not false. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Delva, thank you, Brett. I appreciate the effort.
You're very welcome, Eddie. Thanks for being a CanesWear, part of the CanesWear family. If we had beaten Cuse, we would have then gotten boat raced out of the playoffs because our god awful D, and we never would have got a close look at just how bad our QB room was going forward.
That's true.
It's I think though, like I mentioned, I think the ratings would have been off the chart. You just never know with Cam and our running game what we could have done. Maybe we could have won some games 58 to 57. Who knows? But you're right. It all happened for the best because right now this is the best team we've had in a while. I'm sure Cam is saying every day, why didn't I have that defense? Why didn't I have that? He liked his line, but this line's even better.
Well, Brett, I'll tell you this. It's almost the feeling and sentiment of, You go back to the 2023 season. That was a pretty good defense. And they just didn't have the quarterback with that team. They had pieces everywhere else. So then you go to last year, nice offense, defense just totally discombobulated with the secondary. The secondary was the biggest problem. Then you come to this year, and it's kind of like it's well balanced, kind of like what we were saying for the offseason. That, you know, like maybe it's not one side so over domineering over the other, but more well balanced. And I think you kind of see that playing out in the games.
The most well balanced team we've had in a long time. I mean, there is, you know, and we're deep. That's the key. Like you said, we lost a couple of guys. We lost Lyle. We lost Trader, but we haven't missed a beat.
Yeah, I think that's the most impressive thing. Two guys, not just hype, but like actual substance behind it during the offseason that they showed it consistently. Have not been involved that much with the offense yet with injury and other circumstance. And Miami still has gotten it done. I don't think you could say that about many teams in the past. Sometimes you miss one or two guys, it throws you totally off kilter. So,
add Elijah Lofton in there. He's definitely not been himself. And you thought, and a lot of other people thought, he was going to be a star in this team.
Yeah, I still think there's plenty of time on the clock for him to continue doing so.
But considering he's really not been, you know, a valuable commodity on any of these games. I know he had a few catches this last game for first downs, but you know, guess just when he starts, there's only one ball, and we get all these guys working in here. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Canes Jones said both of those leagues, talking about SEC and Big Ten, are about to eat each other up. We can stay in the top if we keep winning. Like last year, we control our own destiny. Miami absolutely does control their own destiny. And you know what? I'll mention too, some people looked at me crazy when I was talking about the polls a few weeks ago that I said, you know, I think Miami could be number one if Florida State continues winning and Miami continues winning and Miami beats them, that they could be number one, that they have a strong case to be. And some people said, no way. No way we even get up to number two. They're probably going to hold us from that. We're number two right now. And if Miami beats Florida State next week, they could absolutely be number one.
If they're undefeated, I think Florida State, Miami will. But isn't Ohio State playing someone big like Penn State or something?
That's coming up too. But I think just resume-wise, Miami has one of the best resumes in the country right now. Through September, the teams they've played.
It's been so long because even in basketball, the year Coach L had us with Shane Larkin and all those guys, we got to number two. We never got to number one that year. And the Canes have obviously got to number two when they.
It would be the first time since 2002
really
that Miami would be number one, because
wow.
they weren't ranked. They didn't get ranked number one at all during 2003.
Really? So.
Yeah, I know they were high as like 2, 3, and 4, but never. I don't, from what I recall, never number one during 2003.
I think Al Golden's team, when we played Florida State, we were in the. Did we get to 5 or 6 that year?
Somewhere around there. Yeah, that 2013 team,
the Duke Johnson team. So yeah, so it's but you know, this would be unbelievable. I mean, it's like just a feel that we got to number one. Obviously, it's like a pole position. You want to keep it the whole game, the whole race for the season. But it was just good. Once you get there, you're always said they were the number one. They were number one in the country. They were number one in the country. It'd be a good feeling. And if we do beat Florida State and they're undefeated, I think we do deserve to get it because it will be 2 top 5 teams.
Taco said the USF fall starts where the refs not letting us move a little. Kept getting on CC for his drop step when everyone does it. Yeah, that is part of the problem too.
Yeah, the fans were pissed off about that, but they obviously didn't see what was going on in the field.
Ralph said here, I would not mind if CJ Bailey came back home as our quarterback next year. That's the quarterback at NC State.
He's good.
He was Jeremiah Smith and JoJo Trader's QB at Chaminade. You know, people always ask this question, what's Miami going to do for quarterback next year and whatnot? I absolutely believe they'll be back in the portal again. I absolutely believe so. I think they do another year of portal at quarterback, and then they'll turn over to one of the high school guys.
Let's go. You're welcome, Eddie. We got to that before. JoJo and Lyles are in Mario's doghouse, according to 818 Cali Kane.
That's not true on Lyle. Eddie Delva, thank you, Brett. I'll check the site regularly. Go Canes.
Absolutely.
Um,
Gio, can you help with all these rumors? 3 players going into the portal. Is it true? I was trying to figure out who it would be. Ray, Hellcat, and Tony J. I was told they were from Broward and Dade. So he's saying about our guys going into the portal.
Yeah,
I was talking about before Florida guys.
It's still too early on. So much.
Long season. These guys should not give up on the season because it's just. I mean, I'm sure Alabama fans, not that we're Alabama yet, and Clemson had to go through this because, they had obviously all 5 stars and they all couldn't play.
Yeah. Alvin Henley, from my point of view, looked like Carson had some shoulder discomfort. We'll see. He looked fine at the end of the game. 818 County Kane. This team reminds me of 2023 Michigan team. Middling offense, but elite defense. I don't know if I want to say middling offense because
I wouldn't say that at all.
The weather conditions, whether people want to believe it or not, it does come into play. What's your take on FSU? Is for real? We mentioned earlier, want to see them play Virginia tomorrow night first, but I mentioned some takes on them already. Not too entirely impressed with the edge rushers. Linebackers are so. I think they have a good secondary. I think they got good guys on the interior defensive line. Danzy's tremendous talent. I mentioned that even before the season. And Castellanos, dynamic athlete, but I think limited as a passer. I like this as a transfer option for Miami. And this has to do with a decision that came from a former linebacker coach that was here and the former DC that they've removed this guy from the class, Vincent Shavers. So he actually played since Little League with all these guys like OJ Frederick and JoJo Trader and a ton of these guys that are on this team that played for the Miami Gardens Ravens and Rod Mack in that program. He's had a really nice start with Nebraska. I think guys like him come to mind, the people thinking coming back home. I think another one, Stanquan Clark at Louisville. He had an injury this season, but he's one of the better linebackers in the ACC. I think he's a guy that if he entered the portal, I think Miami should be all over that. And I'll go one outside the box as well. Even though he's had a ton of success with Louisville already, the running back, Isaac Brown, that was a decision that came down from Tim Harris Jr. when he was the running back coach here before Matt Merritt. He had picked Isaac Brown over Chris Wheatley-Humphrey. And, looking back on retrospect, I know a lot of Cane fans would prefer that differently. Mm-hmm. And I know it's not fair, but it is what it is.
I think a lot of guys, if we continue to play like we're playing, are going to want to come back home. So they'd always say, guys who come into the pro, I want to make Miami great again. The program, make Miami, be part of something special. But now when they're playing well, people would say, I want to play home. I want to go home to see what Mario's building here.
So No Lack says, Nikar transfer portal. I was at the game and he didn't dress out. He did dress out the first few games. I didn't really notice with this past game of Florida. I'm not entirely sure. But then again, he had entered the portal after the spring, then came back. And you don't know with some of these kids. We'll have to see as the year goes on. Taco said, Coley had a slant for a touchdown and was Njoku's first touchdown as Cane in that Virginia game, 2015. The unis were cool, but looked like we were knee deep in sand. Yeah, that's why I said the sand jerseys.
Yes. That was Golden first game too, wasn't it?
No. Golden's first game was the one against
it was Virginia, wasn't it?
No, that was against Louisville, wasn't it?
I thought his first game was against Virginia.
His first start? I believe it was against Louisville.
Was it? Okay. For some reason I thought Virginia, we lost. We played in new uniforms, and but could be wrong. Canes Jones, check your inbox, Gio.
I'll check it right now.
We want Dolphin jersey. That's one thing. The Nike deal. I don't know. I don't think I'd buy Dolphin jerseys right now. But we only get the jerseys for kids. Nike, as big as we get, it doesn't matter. Nike's got a deal in with Fanatics, and they don't like to deal with smaller companies like us, little homegrown companies. But thank you. We're trying. Hopefully we can get them. Let's see. Javier, Mercado, welcome to the show. Hey, fellas, big fan of the show. Got a question about orders for pickup at the store. How long does it usually take? Orders for pickup should be pretty quickly. You can send me a message but it's very quick. If you have an order for pickup, you order. As long as it's not a game day and we have the item, it should be ready the same day. If you have an issue, feel free to reach out to me. Demetrius Abrams, welcome to the show. What's up, Canes family? You all doing all right? Go Canes, beat FS who? I like it. Hassan, welcome to the show. Hey, Gio. Hey, Brett. Gio, getting that defensive tackle recruit. Does it mean we are out of the Nolan Jackson and Tank Johnson sweepstake?
Yeah, I think he's talking about Nolan Wilson, Tank Jones, and James Johnson. No, Miami's still involved with all three of those guys going forward. They're going to continue chipping away at those three. But you asked me personally, I think I spoke with someone on this. I know they're super high on Nolan Wilson in particular, like his talent. But again, a long way to go. A lot of work to be done with all three of those guys. Even though they've gotten them in on visits and whatnot, it's still battles they have to fight, flipping them from 2 SEC programs and 1 Big Ten program. Hassan said here, Ohio State is going to play Washington. Okay, Washington's been doing pretty good. They're pretty good on offense. They got Denzel Boston, and they got that running back. Forget his name now, but he's a smaller running back, but he's really, really talented. He's one of the better backs in the country. Hassan also mentioned here, Gio, did you hear Oregon State might go after Dawson? I have not heard that to this point, actually. Canes Jones said here, Gio, leave the zit alone. Don't nobody wanted to see a bird step up. It's actually a mosquito bite. Really.
Okay, I was looking at that too. I was going to say something.
Me.
Javier, going back to Javier's question. Javier, here, those look like they're done. They are ready at the store. I see the order you made on the 24th of the shirt and the hat. Thank you very much. And it looks like they are ready at the store. If you didn't get an email confirmation, then I apologize. But you can go in there and grab them. Thank you again for supporting CanesWear. Let me just confirm something real quick. I would take the next.
Carl P.
Yes, they're both ready. Thank you so much, Javier, for the best.
Be the best QB in the portal, and all the teams with real money have a QB for next season. Just us and maybe UF and FSU. I don't know. Yeah, he's talking about Jerron Q. Sagapolu. That California quarterback is the real deal. Brett, I highly suggest you watch him. He's a true freshman, lefty, Samoan kid. I know everyone may think like immediately of Tua, but I mean, this kid is like tremendously good. Plays late night football if he's playing for Cal.
That's the thing. It's like I saw Washington didn't get one AP vote, and Swarmone was ripping on them from Washington, even though they're the number 2 offense in the country. A lot of other things. And somebody said Washington's going to be playing Ohio State. That's going to be a big game. But so the Cal quarterback we have to look from. Where's he from? Samoan, you said?
Yeah, the California quarterback. Super talented, though. True freshman. He looks like out there, and it's tremendous zip on the ball too.
So that'd be a tough guy for us to get, because then what happens to all the kids we have coming in? Find the kid I went nickel.
Yeah, well, you just got to let it play out. Competition.
Yeah.
Can't promise anyone any spot. Fourth and forever with Colorado Kane. Where is Mando? Mando is actually busy tonight.
Yes, he was going to try to come in, but we'll tell him yes. He had a busy day, and he said, I will try to get on late. It's family obligations always come first. Everything is good with Mando, though.
Taco said Golden's first game was against Maryland. Yes.
That's correct. It was
Maryland. I believe Kaya's first game was against Louisville, but yeah, it was that
Golden's, right. And we should have won. We had the uniforms for that game, didn't we? Or some uniforms for that game. Or
no, Ja'Cory Harris was playing back then. That was that season that, oh man, so many games could have gone differently. Like Miami went 6-6, but that year, but all 6 of their losses were 1 score differential, like 3 points or 6 points or 7
we could have been good. It was after we played Cincinnati. We lost the Maryland game at night. We should have won that game. He got some bad breaks, Golden. I mean, if you never know what would have happened with him if we didn't have, he came on board and then we got probation.
I think if he didn't attach himself to the D'Onofrio trailer,
yes,
that potentially things could have gone differently. Orange
Exactly,
and green.
because he's not attached to him now. Every other job he had, D'Onofrio had nothing to do with it. So
Yeah,
why go
and
down with your nepotism and your friend? Doesn't make any sense.
Orange and Green said, well, at the end of the day, his best friend also was his best man at his wedding too. So it's
Okay.
a tough thing for the guy.
That
Orange
is a
and Green.
tough thing.
I've seen different offensive plays every week, and I hope Dawson calls the best of them from all 4 weeks. FS Pooh can't stop you. Nice. Ralph says, I would love to see them throwing the ball to Luka Gilbert a couple times down the middle. Kid is 6'7", 260 pounds, has his own atmosphere. That's very true. Very, very true. He's a very big target. Jonah Coleman. Yeah, that's the Washington running back I was talking about. Really talented. E. Whitty said, did Charles Brantley kind of fall off towards the end of spring? Remember hearing he was going to be a decent part of our defense this year? Yeah, so had a little bit of injury in camp. He is the 5th cornerback right now and had missed the first couple of games. He's back now. So, the bye week is always a time where guys could find a way to elevate or, getting recovery from injury. So we'll see. Carl P said, are we serious on getting that defensive tackle Michigan commit from Texas? Did he come to visit during our Notre Dame and or UFC? Are you talking about Alistair Vallejo? No, he did not visit for either of those games, but Miami has had contact with him in the past. Taco said, lefty Samoan, hell no.
That's funny.
His other brother is also JKS, but he plays for Portland State. JKS is from Hawaii. Yeah. Hassan said, hey, Gio, do you think Belichick will start coaching his players how to play ball or coach them how to make out with his girlfriend on the field? Oh, my God.
That Belichick, I mean, he could be in the NFL before you know it. Or is he just, sometimes it's like a guy gets it just loses. I don't think he lost it, but he won. I shouldn't say he only won with Brady, but he obviously won more championships than anybody. But it's obviously college football is a different experience.
Taco shared it. That was the game where that Maryland did was screen passes and D'Onofrio refused to press the line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Frustrating times. Javier Mercados. You know what, Brett? I'll tell you this. I think early on, at least with a defensive coordinator, I think you could tell early on if a defensive coordinator is going to be good or bad. I honestly believe that.
Mm-hmm. I believe you. If you're on
schematically, yes.
No, I agree. We knew right away on him, and everybody knew. I mean, all the different Facebook sites at that time, everything like that. Just D'Onofrio, and the thing was, nobody was against Golden at that. They loved Golden, but once he wouldn't take him out, they turned on Golden. If you're not going to replace him, then you got to go too. Because I think, people were high on Golden because his offenses were excellent. Steve Morris was under him, right? I mean, we'd give up a touchdown, we'd score right away. I mean, we had some good offenses. So, and then there was some rumors.
Jeff Fish was a good play caller.
Yes. There was some rumors that when we had a good defensive performance, Golden took over the defense. But it just didn't work out. Javier, if you're on,
I'll tell you this, Brett, with the way that he had Notre Dame's defense looking and his recent stops as a DC,
mm-hmm.
he could have found some success if he took over Miami's defense back then. And then, like Jed Fish or even James Coley had some success as OC here as well.
Mm-hmm.
If he left it as that, he probably could have won some games, honestly, looking back.
Well, we did win the ACC, actually, right? We declined it.
Yes, we declined it, yeah.
Because we wanted to look good to the NCAA, but we could have played in that.
Yeah.
It would have been in the ACC championship game. I don't know, did North Carolina take our place, or we would have played North Carolina? I forgot which one it was.
I forgot. Javier Mercado said, hey, Brett, how can I message you?
You can, like I said, you can message on Twitter if you're Canes_wear, on Instagram, CanesWear. You can send me an email at brett@caneswear.com, however you like. But I do see that we do have those so available for you. But feel free to reach out to me any of those ways. Facebook, you can message me as Brett Mitchell, or you can go ahead as on the CanesWear as well.
Okay, Papa Cool said Elijah Arroyo, 2 catches, 44 yards. Yeah, he's having a nice night.
2020, this game is a great comeback by the Cardinals.
Canes Jones, they've been running the 3-3-5. If they think they want those linebackers / safeties, nickels, taking on our offensive line while at full speed, we are going to score 42 points. He's talking about Florida State. Yeah, he's right. Ewitty said, where is Guidry at now? He is a defensive analyst for LSU right now.
Okay.
He went back
we
home.
got him. He was so fiery. We were so excited because he had the Marshall defense, right? We are Marshall, and they were like one of the top defenses in the country. I know they weren't a Power 5, but we were excited when we got him.
Got a comment here. Haven't seen Justin Scott as much as I thought I would. Is it because Blaine Moulton is just playing well? Justin Scott didn't rotate in as much this game, but when he has played, though, the first 3 games, he looked pretty good. I think it's just kind of by design what they did last game. He got, I think it was like 9 or 10 snaps this last game. It was more evenly distributed through the first 3, though. Jay Phenom, hey, Brett, stop by the shop on game day and got new gear for the fam. Picked up the 5 Rings pouch shirt after the team helped me find it. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Jay Phenom. I'm glad you could do that. Love my team at CanesWear. The people we have working there are fantastic. Jeff and Ken do a great job. And then we love our CanesWear family, the fans.
E. Woody said, do you think Malik Bryant will break out next year with Bain and Mesidor gone? I think it's more so going to be a guy like Armando Blunt. I know Armando Blunt's showing flashes now, like a lot. I think he'll have a big year next year as long as he's healthy. And I'd keep an eye on a guy like Hayden Lowe. And obviously Marquise Lightfoot has really shown some stuff recently too. But Hayden Lowe is particularly as well as a guy I'm looking forward to for next year with Miami's pass rush.
Is Mesidor, it's in his 3rd year, right? Or is he?
Yeah, this is Mesidor's last year. He's got no more eligibility after
the Bain's 3rd year. He'd have it, but he's definitely going. I mean, he could be top 5 pick. If he stays healthy, Bain, he could be the number 1 pick.
Could be
sitting 4 on the stage for the Heisman.
Yeah, he's got a compelling case early on. Taco said, Golden was a good coach, was just horrid at hiring some coaches. We had high school coaches as coaches. He kept using the grow system and learned in the NFL. Yes. Golden did cut his teeth when he went back into the NFL. He spent some time with the Lions, too. I remember that.
Yeah, it's tight end coach.
A lot of Miami fans when he went to the Lions, though. Hassan said, Gio, with Clemson having problems, do you think we could snatch their safety recruits? I spoke about Blake Stewart earlier and the private school factor that could come into play there with the family. And now are we doing with Devin Jackson or Fitzpatrick? Miami's very much in the mix with Justice Fitzpatrick. I actually spoke with someone very familiar with that recruitment. They told me they'd be surprised if he stuck with Georgia, that they expect him more so to end up at a school like Miami or Ohio State. Texas kind of the dark horse there. But Devin Jackson, though, things have kind of simmered off there. If something changes, I'll mention it, but I haven't heard much about that anymore. Taco said, I got destroyed by fans when I saw Guidry's defense had flaws his first year. Took a crap year for people to see the light. Yeah, Taco, actually, you know what? I spoke with someone that had quite the familiarity with Coach Guidry's defensive playbook. And one of the biggest things, at least from a football perspective, the concern was it was nice schematically in many ways, what I was told. And this is a guy with football knowledge, 40 plus years, legendary coach, said that Guidry's defense lacked the aspect of replacement within the scheme of like what happens if this guy's here or that or whatever. So that was a really concerning factor that came into play. Hassan said here, anything on Nick Lanier reclassifying? So that's still kind of up in the air. Not concrete right now. I did speak with someone that mentioned to me that he did begin the paperwork on that, but it's still nothing official yet there. But Kenton Dobson, though, is already part of the class of 2026. Miami commit is still considering North Carolina. Decision should come soon on that as well. But he is part of 2026 now, though. It's just not announced officially, but he is. He's already reclassified. Let's see here. Jet Washington, Fitzpatrick. I haven't heard anything much on Jet Washington recently, to be honest with you. Cell TV Miami offense is too slow. I point to the weather too, and kind of out physicality of teams. He said, "Have you heard something about Tyson Bacon decommitting, or is it solid commit?" He was actually there at the game this last week, and I haven't heard anything recently with that. I know there was some concerns. That concern was with Florida. That was a program that was very much in the mix for him. Them not having a hot start has kind of cooled things off there. And last question here. By the way, Gio, I am a friend of Trent Seaborn. That's Miami's top 2027 guy. Goes to my high school. He's very high on Miami. Yes, awesome. He loves Shannon Dawson's offense. Oregon in the mix there. South Carolina, I believe it's Alabama or Auburn as well. When I had spoken about them.
Some good competition.
Yeah.
What position does he play?
Quarterback. He's Miami's top guy for 2027. However, I've mentioned this before. Local 5-star quarterback Neiman Lawrence. While it hasn't happened yet, it's still very much on the table that he could reclassify himself. I'm not saying for sure it's going to happen, but it is an option that is on the table for him to potentially do so. Miami has options there for 2027.
And we got Coleman in 26, right?
Yeah. Taco said the Louisville game when we kept putting linebackers man-on-man with wide receivers and tight ends and refused to run zone or change assignments. Talking about Gidry. Yeah. It's just bad. But that's all the comments tonight, Brett.
All right, good. 11:30. Fantastic. Thursday night. We had great turnout, though.
Yeah, just check the numbers. We had well over 2,000 people that showed up. Late night crew for after 10, and thank you everyone for the support. It's a bye week as well, so I know interest may not be at an all-time high during a bye week, but thank you for everyone for coming out and supporting. And actually, I want to highlight this comment. Taco said, JV Kane still sucks. JV Kane's a good friend of mine. I've known for 17 years. We always troll with him. He's by the way, Brett, let me tell you the legend about JV Kane. So he's kind of like a troll. So he puts out an all bozo list every week. Players that are not contributing. Well, all last year he kept on getting on the case of Bain and these other guys. Every guy that he put on the bozo list has all tremendously performed this year. Even this year, guys that he's pointed out, he started mentioning stuff about Elijah Lofton. He's like, oh, he's now on my bozo watch list. All of a sudden, Elijah Lofton has a really good game against Florida. So it's the reverse psychology of it. JV Kane it's working.
Is that his goal?
Whatever he's doing with the bozo list is working.
Is his goal to call them out so they have a good game?
I think so. I absolutely do think so.
Yeah, I know some people like that. They go, whatever they say, it's the opposite.
Yeah, I think that's the whole shtick there. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for you, Woody. Nice stream tonight. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you joining in. Hassan is allergic to Trailer Hassie. He's not going. He's been to the games here. Anthony joining late. Jojo Ray. We spoke about them at length today, but we hope to see Jojo soon. Correct? And we don't know about Ray. Great kid. Both great kids. We hope to see them playing soon, and we'll see what happens. It feels like we've been playing for a long time. We're only 4 games in. We played all 4 games at home, and we got 4 more home games. So we still got 4 home games, 4 road games, which is beautiful. And I will say this. The 12th man, the fans have made a difference this year. Against Florida, we totally made a difference. Against USF, we made a difference.
Before the weather delay with USF, the turnout was pretty good for a game like that. It's not a Notre Dame or Florida.
Exactly.
The turnout was really good before the weather delay.
No, and when they stayed even after the weather delay, they stayed. But Notre Dame, we got a good crowd. The fans make a difference, and for every fan that goes and likes to make comments on Twitter or Facebook or TikTok, wherever, it's if you go to the stadium, and it's not expensive to go for a game. If you go to the game, you actually can make a difference. When you're screaming, and you're banging the tables, you're banging the chairs. I mean, you can make a difference. When we have every seat full there, our home field advantage is as good as it gets with that loud stadium, the way it echoes.
Yeah.
Gio, where can people find you?
Everyone can find me on here on the CanesWear podcast with you, my friend Brett. Make sure to shop at CanesWear, Miami Fan Wear, the place where all South Florida sports fans shop. You can find Dolphins gear, Heat gear, Marlins gear, Inter Miami, your Miami Hurricanes, of course, and plenty more. 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida, right next to the famous La Spada Hoagies. You can also find me weekly on Who Wants Smoke with Amon Richards. We'll be back on live very soon. I make appearances on Comics on Canes with Michael Yo, sometimes on Locked on Canes with Alex Dono. 560 WQEM, or also now known as 104.3 FM. I think I named everything. And you can find me especially on X, aka Twitter, at Gio Million. You can see it right there on your screen, Gio Million on X.
Absolutely. So check out Gio. I'm sure everybody knows Gio by now, but always doing a great job, always doing amazing posts and amazing comments. We're thankful to have him on the show every week. And you can find me at CanesWear, or you can find me on X Twitter, Canes_wear. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, Brett Mitchell or CanesWear. Find us anywhere. If you have any questions, you can email us, call us, whatever it takes. We're here for you. CanesWear.com as well. Excited, lots of new stuff coming in all the time, and we're thankful for you, the fans. I always say, Gio, it's all about the you. Whenever I do interviews or things, it's all about the you, but really it's all about you, the fans, and the customers, because it's all about you, but it's all about you, the fans.
But it wouldn't be possible without them.
That's absolutely right. And they're the best part of it. And the Geo Discord, Hassan said, correct.
Yes. If you want to get into that Discord, link is right in my bio on X. Highly recommend it. There's hundreds of people that are subscribed. They love the info they get. You get the heads up even beforehand, days out in advance before guys commit. Just happened again recently with the defensive tackle commit. So thank you, everyone, for the support as always.
Yes, great seeing you guys. Thank you for an amazing Thursday night show, and we will see you soon. Enjoy the bye week and enjoy the game tomorrow night. Go Canes.
Go Canes.